Everyone, thanks for joining me for today's Leadership and Transformation Cast. Good to see all of you here. Last week, I began talking about attention and where your treasure is, there your heart is, or where your attention is. Also, you can also trade it up and go where your attention is, there is your heart also. Either one gets at the point that our attention is a resource, it's a commodity, it's a part of who we are. And how we steward that attention is really, really important to our lives. And so I want to begin talking about this. Now, there's a book out there called Day Trading Attention by Gary Vaynerchuk. Now, Gary Vaynerchuk is not a Christian author or anything like that. I don't know what his faith status is, but he doesn't advertise himself that way. And yet I listen to Gary V on the regular because I think he really has the pulse of today's marketing environment and how it all works. And he talks about what does it mean to day trade attention. And it's him who really got this idea on my radar of attention as a resource. And as I began to synthesize how that fits in with faith and spiritual values, that's where I began to put this together with Matthew 6:21, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And if we think about it, attention is a form of spiritual currency. And if it's a spiritual currency or a treasure, then it shapes not only our external engagement, but also our internal spiritual state. And so faith is an attention investment. And so in our attention-based economy and attention as a commodity, not only in business and branding, but also then in our spiritual life, attention is crucial. Where we invest our intention, our thoughts, our time, our energy determines the shape of our souls. What we're putting into us is what we will get back out of us. And if our attention is consumed by fleeting distractions, we become spiritually fragmented. And this goes back to what we've been talking about around moral leadership and this fragmentation, this compartmentalization, this disintegration. And what does it mean for you and I to have integrity, to be integrated, to find wholeness, and to be holy? So if we intentionally place our attention on things that are life-giving, faith, relationships, purpose, significance, mission, we cultivate a deeper spiritual wealth. We develop a spiritual economy inside of us. And so it's just a spiritual economy of attention that I want to talk about, because we're constantly being pulled in so many different directions in our lives between all of the many relationships we have. But on top of that, media and social media, entertainment, consumer culture, they're all competing for our focus. And particularly right now, politics and media and social media are grabbing hold of our focus and dividing us up, disintegrating us, fragmenting us, dividing us on purpose. And so, what does it mean for you and I to pay attention to this culture, to pay attention to these trends, to pay attention to what's happening to us, and adapt our engagement to where people are at, where real people, where real lives, where real problems are at, rather than what is mediated to us by politics and media? In our faith, if we want to be spiritually relevant and impactful, we must understand where people's attention is at and meet them there. What are their longings and losses? You know, I've talked a lot about that over the last many years. And so understanding those longing and losses are so important to you and I and our currency of attention. Media and social media aren't the enemy, they are the mission field. And so when we look at those places, rather than seeing them as like the enemy and the problem, we begin to look at them and go, wait a minute, how do we turn our attention? How do we turn their attention? How do we turn the attention of the other people on the other side of that media to the things that are actual longings and losses? So this attention must always be contextual, always must be scanning and going, who do I need to be present to at this moment? Our attention's also a reflection of the heart. If we take Jesus' words seriously, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Then we can see attention as a spiritual diagnostic. It's like running a health test for us and going, where's my attention at? Oh, that tells me about my spiritual health right now. What we focus on reveals what we truly value. If we're consumed by financial success, social status, fear driven news cycles, our hearts will be shaped by those things. But if we intentionally direct our attention towards gratitude, towards love, towards service, towards God's divine presence, we will be spiritually transformed. So we need to use practices like prayer and contemplation, meditation, mindfulness, community engagement, service, not just as disciplines, but as ways of directing and redirecting, transforming our attention towards what truly matters. Here's some things that you can do in your life. One, I want you to audit your attention. Where is your focus throughout the day? Is it aligned with your spiritual values? Two, be present in the moment. We're always thinking about the past. We're always thinking about the future. What does it mean to be mindful and be right here in this moment and reclaim our scattered attention, reclaim ourselves from this fragmentation and compartmentalization that we do? Three, engage people where people are at, their longings, their losses, their particular context. Let's attune and attend to that. Four, invest in depth, not just reach. What do I mean by that? I mean, so often life is so superfluous, it's so shallow. What does it mean for you and I to go deeper, to invest in the depth of relationships with people, to give true attention so that we go beyond the surface level? And then number five, what does it mean for you and I to capture attention, to go, how do we go about our lives where we reframe people's attention towards the things that are compelling, that are significant, that are purpose driven? Our attention, friends, is a sacred value. It is a currency, and we must invest that currency not only for our lives and our businesses and our families, but also for our souls. And by applying these principles of essentially day trading attention, as Gary Vee talks about, you and I can actually become more intentional about what we consume, what we create, and how we connect with others. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today for the Leadership and Transformation Cast. Hope to see you tomorrow for our sermon preview. Thanks, everyone.